Evergreen Heart. By Oprian. Chapter 26. No going back. The Everfree was as eerie as always. And yet there was a subtle difference to it, to those with the right senses anyway. And my senses are rather unique after all. It was still filled with the ever-present sense of darkness, but amidst it all I could feel the power of the Tree of Harmony. It pulsed through the woods like a gentle, distant heartbeat. It kept the darkness in check. More so now that the plunder seeds were no longer draining it. But there was one kind of darkness here the tree could not keep in check. And I was looking at it right now. On the path before me stood a timber wolf. A pretty big one too. As soon as it saw me it bared its teeth. Stinking breath filling the air. Piss off! I snarled at it. I was not in the mood to deal with this shit. Not today. It took a threatening step towards me. Making ready to pounce. Suit yourself. I snapped my fingers, and two slabs of stone shot up from the ground, crushing the timber wolf between them like a roach under a boothiel. Its animating spirit fled into the deep woods. And stay gone! I shouted after it. You would think these things would have learned by now to stay out of my way, yet they always seem to come back to test me again and again. Either they are too stupid to learn, or they simply can't stop for other reasons. With another snap of my fingers I returned the slabs of stone to the earth. Taking the timber wolf remains with them. With the path clear I moved on and soon made it to my destination, Zecora's hut. I lightly tapped on the frame before pushing the door open, shrinking down to fit through. "Enipony home!" I called out. There was a surprised yelp and a thump from the other room, followed by muffled voices and a clatter of hooves, then Zecora came rushing into the room. "Aaron, my friend, this is a surprise. Though a little warning would have been nice," she said, looking a bit flustered. I blinked at her. "Am I interrupting something? I have no clue of what you speak, there is no..." She was interrupted by a noise from the other room, as if someone dropped a metal bucket. "Who's hiding back there?" "No pony, it's..." Starhorn then entered the room. His helmet floating in his magical aura as he adjusted his armor. That explained the noise. "It's all right, sweet Stripe, we don't have to pretend. We're all grown-ups here." He gave me a stern glance as he said that last part, as if daring me to disagree. "Wait, did I just catch them in the act?" "Sorry you two, didn't mean to interrupt your fun," I said with an apologetic smile. Zecora blushed. Star coughed into a hoof. I swear the both of them were acting like teenagers. "I actually came by to talk to you, Zecora. It's kinda important." "Very well, come sit with me. But first I shall prepare some tea." I sat down at her little table while she went to her kitchen to fetch the tea. "So," I said to Starhorn, "you and Zecora getting to know each other better, hey, you lucky bastard you. Could we maybe not speak of that?" He said with a heavy blush and grimace. "Damn, but these ponies are so easy to tease. I swear they are all so innocent." "Well, maybe not. Not if rainy day is any indication. So what brought you to my hut?" "A social call, I believe it's not," said Zecora as she emerged from her little kitchen with the tea. "You're right, it's not." I took a moment to gather my thoughts. "I'm going on a journey. A very long journey. To Zecora." They both looked at me with surprise. "What brought this on?" asked Star as he sipped some tea. "The beast," I said grimly. "Zecora, you helped me with this problem before, but it's getting worse. I need help again, but you said yourself you're not a fully trained shaman." She nodded. "My shaman training is incomplete, so I cannot give you what you need. I need to find a shaman to help me control this monster before I harm someone I care about. That's why I'm going to Zecora. I would like you to come with me. I apologize to you, but that is something I cannot do." "But..." "Please do not misunderstand. I would gladly lend you a hoof, my friend. But the only shaman that I know, lives in the one place I cannot go. Let me guess. Your hometown. Correct. You're afraid that if you come along, you have to face your family. For this reunion, I'm not ready yet. The very idea fills me with dread. As much as I may hold them dear, I feel that my place should be here. She said as she gave Star a nuzzle. I mulled it over silently. I understand. Could you at least write me some directions to your old home? I'll do better and add a map, so finding it becomes a snap. She said with a smile. She hoofed me a map, and then wrote a scroll with directions in a simple enough script that I could easily decipher with my limited reading skills. I'm sorry I can't be with you on this trip. Have you yet secured a ship? Actually, I asked some pony else about that. I sent a letter through Spike the other day. I'm supposed to meet him in town soon. Then I bid you safe journey, my friend. May your quest lead to a satisfying end. I hope so. I said as I stood to leave. We shared a brief hug before I went on my way. As I walked out the door, it turned to them one last time. A stupid grin plastered to my face. Oh, and guys, next time you should just lock the front door. Unless of course you enjoy getting caught. Get out of here already, they both shouted, erupting in fresh blushes. I couldn't help but chuckle as I walked away. Ah, ponies! The cheeky sheep was rather quiet. Though that might have just been the time of day. Most ponies were still at the market, with only the occasional loner coming in for a drink. I had been waiting here for almost an hour, nursing a single beer. I was going to miss this place. In just a few short weeks it had really grown on me. The door creaked open once again. I looked up to see a pony wrapped in a cloak standing there. When he spotted me, he immediately came over. Thanks for coming, I said as he sat down across from me in the little booth. It's no problem, Aaron. Frankly, it's nice to get away from all the posh and bother for a while. Still, I appreciate it. Blueblood shrugged. Think nothing of it. Now what can I do for you? Your letter was vague but urgent. Yet. I trailed off into silence for a minute. I hate to beg for favors, but I don't know who else to ask. The girls have refused to help me. That doesn't sound like them. From what Anta tells me, they are the kindest, most helpful ponies around. Poor choice of words. They believe I should ask the princess for help. Twilight was most insistent there. But I can't ask her for help. Doing so would turn into a disaster. Of course the girls think I'm just being stubborn. Are you? Being stubborn, I mean. You haven't even told me what this is all about. Where to begin? I sighed. In a nutshell, a few days ago I accompanied Spike on a little trip to meet with a bunch of dragons so he could learn what it means to be one. Things turned sour, and the beast briefly got out. A bunch of dragons got seriously hurt. I'd like to say they had it coming, but what it did to them, that was monstrous. Did it kill them? No, but none of them will ever fully recover. In a lot of ways that's worse. I see. He said quietly. Look, Blue, I regret what happened, but I can't control this thing. I need help. Help that can't be found here in Equestria. No disrespect to your aunt, but her solution to a problem is to either sick Twilight on it or blast it with the elements of harmony and hope for the best. The latter has no effect on me, and the former, she has no real clue how to help me. So what will you do? I can't stay here, Blue. I'm a danger to every pony so long as I don't have a foolproof method of keeping that thing in check. So far the only one who had any clue how to help me is Zecora. But even she is out of her depth here. I need to find someone more learned than her. Where are you going to find some pony like that? Zecora. You're serious? As a heart attack. And that's what I need you for, Blue. I need your help getting to Zecora. The girls tried to talk me out of it, but I have to do this. And I need to get there before your aunt gets wind of this whole situation. Why in Equestria does that matter? Because we've gone through that whole song and dance before. I can't ask her for help without every pony eventually finding out exactly what happened. And if that happens, there's bound to be ponies who will call for my immediate incarceration, if not summary execution this time. Claiming they were right all along. That I'm nothing more than a monster. And she would be obligated, by duty and by law, to throw me in Tartarus at the very least. You realize what you're asking of me? You're asking me to go behind my aunt's back. Essentially to help you escape from justice. Is it justice though? You saw that mockery of a jury they tried to sick on me the last time they put me on trial. I doubt Ironclad will be able to get me off the hook a second time. Technically I wasn't there, but I did hear about it after the fact. Still, what you're asking me to do, some would consider it an act of treason against the crown. Blue, please. I'm completely at your mercy here. You are the only pony I know who has the connections to get me where I need to go. He was silent for the longest time. All right. But you owe me for this. Anything, Blue. I will hold you to that, Aaron. But for now, just make sure you come back from this all right. I will try my hardest. He nodded. I will call in a favor with an old friend of mine. He's a trade ship captain who makes trips to Zebrica and beyond on a regular basis. He owes me a favor or two. He should still be in dock. He can probably get you to Zebrica. We both stood and I bumped hooves with him. I really appreciate this. I just hope you know what you're doing, Aaron. So do I. Later that day I stood outside Sweet Apple Acres once again, enjoying the afternoon sun. Or at least trying to. I was so on edge ever since my return to Ponyville, I've pretty much been walking on eggshells. I really needed to relax, and the orchard is by far and wide the most peaceful place in all of Ponyville. Well, when the Crusaders aren't around anyway. Then everything becomes tree sap and pine needles, and I've got enough of that as it is. Like I said, however, right now the place was peaceful, which is the main reason I keep coming back here whenever I feel the need for some tranquility. I closed my eyes, that is to say, I turned off my magical vision and enjoyed the sensation of the sunlight on my leaves and bark. Slowly the tension seemed to drain out of me as I listened to the birds singing in the distance. I've never really been the type to try meditation. I can never seem to quiet my mind. Frankly, I believe that's a skill only a handful of people possess, and even fewer manage to master. But I do enjoy moments of solitude, just so I can unwind and think, and just be myself. Stillness does seem to come easier to me these days. Probably another side effect of being a walking talking willow. I wonder, am I doing the right thing? Or is this plan just a fool's errand? I have no idea what to expect in Zebrica. Would they fear me, like the ponies? Will I even be able to find help? Will Blueblood even come through for me? Not that I doubt him, but who knows if this friend of his will even take me. Best not think about that too much. I came here to relax after all. The sudden sound of something touching down drew my attention. I opened my eyes only to be confronted by the sight of Celestia herself. Princess? What are you doing here? I am here on a matter most important, concerning the safety of my kingdom and its subjects. I have weighed all my options, and sadly I see but one possible solution. I am sorry, Aaron, but for the sake of every living thing in Equestria, I am left with no other option, but to turn you to stone. I tensed up, every instinct screaming danger at me as I slipped into a defensive stance. Yeah, good luck with that. The elements of harmony don't work on me. There's more than one way to turn a person to stone, Aaron. For what it's worth, I truly am sorry. She nodded to someone behind me. Fluttershy, you may begin. Wait. Fluttershy? I turned around only to come face to face with the yellow Pegasus, and a pair of cockatrices. I'm so sorry about this, Fluttershy said as she nudged the cockatrices forward. Both mythical beasts gazed at me with baleful glowing red eyes. I tried to look away swiftly, but the damage was done. Already my legs began turning to stone. Wait, please, you can't do this. You can't do this to me. It's not right. I'm sorry, but there's simply no place in this world for you, said Celestia somberly. Don't worry, you won't be conscious like Discord. Just relax and let it happen. The creeping stone moved faster and faster up my body. No matter which way I twisted or turned, there was no escape. In moments the stone had reached my face. My vision began to darken. No, please, no, darkness swallowed me. I awoke from the black void with a scream. My power lashed out in panic, tearing a wide crevasse into the earth. Several trees toppled over as their roots were ripped from the soil, and part of the fence marking the edge of the orchard was torn asunder. It took me a full minute to realize I was in fact whole, unharmed, and certainly not petrified. Just a dream. I managed to breathe out as my panic subsided and I set about repairing the damage. The fence was a lost cause, but I could at least put the trees back and fix the chasm in the ground. What a nightmare! Apparently my attempt at meditation had been so relaxing I had slipped into my hibernative sleep state without realizing it. And my subconscious and overactive imagination had promptly given me a horrid vision of a possible future. Judging from the position of the sun, I must have been out for an hour at least. I swear, after that dream, I'm never sleeping again. Several days passed, and I was starting to become paranoid. I guess my little nightmare shook me up worse than I realized. I was becoming convinced that Celestia was out to get me. I was jumpy and ready to lash out at anything and everything. Maybe it was a good thing Zecora refused to come with me. I should just do this alone so Noon gets hurt whenever I lose control or have another freakout. Yes, going on this trip solo was definitely the right path. Now if only Blueblood would hurry up so I could get out of here before I lose my goddamn mind, again. As a means to distract myself and maintain the illusion of normalcy, I had poured all of my remaining time into working on Trixie's wagon. That afternoon we finally finished it. With a satisfied grunt, Big Mac tossed his paintbrush back into the bucket. I think that should do it, I said as I put my own brush down. Ei up. The wagon was all done and freshly painted. The woodwork had been painted in blue to match Trixie's own coat. Yellow stars decorated the back end of the wagon, getting progressively smaller the closer they got to the front until they vanished. The top was covered by a sturdy canvas in the same purple color as her cape and hat. A small chimney pipe that led to her little stove poked through it. The cover on top had been shaped like a little wizard's hat and painted in purple as well. Each side had a little window to let in the light, and the front of the cart had a Dutch door with a small round window in the top section. It held stained glass that showed a star and a letter T. It's perfect. Trixie loves it, said the mare in question, her eyes growing slightly misty. Glad you like the results, Trixie. That makes all the hard work we put into this thing worth it. Ei up, said Big Mac. Trixie suddenly jumped the both of us, giving us a hug as she said thank you over and over, sounding happier than I've ever heard her. "'Twarn't nothing," said Big Mac, fighting off a blush. "I guess he's not used to getting hugs from mares. At least from ones he's not related to." As we packed up the rest of the tools, Spike entered the barn. "Hey Aaron, got a letter for you," he said as he held up a scroll. "Thanks, Spike. You didn't say anything to Twilight, right?" "Nope, I kept my mouth shut, just like I promised." "That's my main dragon," I said with a smile. "Technically I'm your only dragon, dude. Now about our agreement." "Oh, right," I said as I pulled a gemstone from inside one of my inner pockets. "A large sapphire. Here you go. Pleasure doing business," Spike said as he walked off, licking the gemstone. "Since when are you in the business of bribing ponies?" Trixie asked. "It's not a bribe. It's payment for services rendered. Breeb. She sing-songed in a passable imitation of Pinkie Pie. Oh hush. So who's the letter from? I didn't answer as I opened it, trying my hardest to decipher the equestrian script. With a little effort I was able to figure out the message. Aaron, my friend, the ship leaves tonight from Baltimore. Meet me on the bridge outside Ponyville at sunset. Be on time. Blueblood. It's from Shining Armor. I lied as I folded the letter back up and put it inside myself. He's asking when we can set up our next games night. Why would you ask Spike to keep that quiet from Twilight? Because it's nerdy. She gave me a look of disbelief. We're playing Caverns and Critters, okay, it's silly guys stuff. If you say so. She sounded unconvinced. Hey, why don't you take your new wagon for a spin? See how she pulls. Hey. We should probably let the paint fully dry first. Otherwise it will be full of dirt and leaves and whatnot. Oh yeah, right. Well, I'm going for a walk. See you later, okay? Without waiting for a reply I left the barn. Luna walked through the palace hallways. She had woken not too long ago. She would have to raise the moon in an hour or so, but until then, well, she wasn't exactly sure what to do. That was a problem that had been plaguing her a lot in the past few weeks. She wanted to contribute more to the day-to-day running of Equestria, but aside from her raising the moon and her role as protector of the dreamscape, there was little for her to do. Not a lot happened during the night. Even bad dreams were a rarity in this day and age. After centuries of peaceful living, ponies had little that troubled their minds. So true night terrors were few and far between. Luna turned a corner and came face to face with her own nightmare. At the end of the hallway stood Nightmare Moon. She stared at Luna with piercing eyes. Luna felt her heart skip a beat and her breath caught in her throat. Nightmare Moon flashed her a wicked fanged smile, then dashed off to the side down the hall. Wait, stop! Luna shouted and charged after her. She rounded the corner and nearly collided with one of the guards. Whoa, Your Highness, what's wrong? Asked the stallion, an orange Pegasus. Did you not see her? Luna all but shouted in his face. See who, Your Highness? There's no pony here but you and me. Luna looked down the hallway. There were no side corridors, and the door at the end was closed. There was no way Nightmare Moon would have been able to slip by this guard unnoticed. Princess, are you all right? We are fine. What is thy name, guardsman? Flash Sentry, Your Highness. We are fine, Flash Sentry. We just thought we saw some pony familiar. Well, I just came through the door, and I didn't see any pony. We were apparently mistaken. Luna said as she turned around. We must be off, the moon needs to be raised soon. Good night, Flash Sentry. Good night, Your Highness. He said with a salute. As Luna turned and went back the way she came, she missed the smile Flash gave her. A smile that was all fangs. As Twilight and the others sat down for dinner, I stepped outside under the excuse of soaking up some last-minute sun before nightfall. One of the advantages of being me is that I don't have to bring anything on a journey. No food, tents, or other stuff. I take one last look through the window at the three of them. Sorry guys, but I need to do this before I seriously hurt one of you. I walked away, picking up the pace to get away quickly before I changed my mind. The bridge is not exactly all that far, and it took me only a few minutes to reach it. There was no pony there. I guess I'm a little early. I leaned on the side of the bridge, looking down into the water at my own reflection. A mostly featureless mask with glowing green eyes stared back at me. I've gotten good at making a lifelike pony face, but a human face. I've almost forgotten what a human face is supposed to even look like. More specifically, I'm starting to forget what my own face used to look like. People always say that outside appearances shouldn't matter, and that what's on the inside is what truly counts. That's all well and good, but our appearance and physical form plays a big role in shaping your own identity and sense of self. When I became this, I lost a part of what made me, me. Every time I see my own reflection, it's like looking at a stranger. The fact that I can be nearly anything doesn't help either. If I was stuck in a single form, it might perhaps be easier to get used to it. But that's only half my problem. Every time I think I've figured everything about myself out, I learn something new. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Ugh, who am I anymore? What the hell is my purpose in this new life? Why the fuck was I reborn like this? All this thinking is giving me a headache. Or whatever passes for one in my current condition. I smacked my head into the railing of the bridge with an annoyed grunt. I hate my existence right now. A flash and a loud pop like someone uncorking a champagne bottle startled my mind back into the here and now. Blueblood and another pony I did not recognize appeared in a swirl of smoke. Hello there, Aaron. Blue greeted me with an extended hoof. I made a fist and gave it a solid bump. Evening, Blue, who's your friend? This is Pinpoint, he's an expert at long-range teleportation. He's going to take us to Baltimore. The ship is waiting at Pier 15. Are you ready to go? I took one last look over my shoulder at Ponyville. The town looked so serene against the setting sun. I let out a sigh. Yeah, I'm ready. All right then, just stand next to us and keep still. Pinpoint, if you please. Of course, Master Blueblood. I couldn't help but crack a smile. This guy sounded just like Alfred. Would that make Blueblood Bruce Wayne? Ha, imagine that. Pinpoint's horn began to glow. I could feel the air around me tingle with the magical buildup. A shimmering bubble formed around us, and then we were gone. I've never teleported before, but the sensation wasn't unlike being on a roller coaster. A rush of speed, and feeling as if you left your stomach several paces behind you. Everything just blurred, and then snapped back into focus. And we were elsewhere. The countryside sounds and smell of Ponyville vanished instantly, and the scent of brine and the cries of seagulls assaulted my senses. We were standing in the middle of a docking district, amidst wooden warehouses, brickwork drydocks, and ponies carrying crates and bales of goods and fish. Not just ponies though. I could see griffins, minotaurs, even a buffalo or two. I guess that's why no pony gave me more than a casual glance. They were a lot more used to seeing strange creatures here than in most places, I suppose. This way, said Blue as he guided us through the chaos. In a minute or two we reached the pier. Moored there was an enormous galleon with 4 masts. Its crew was rushing to get the last of its cargo aboard. Ahoy there! Shouted Blueblood as we approached the gangplank. One of the sailors, an earth pony in a striped blue shirt, turned to us. What business ya got here? He asked gruffly. I'd like a word with the captain. We have an arrangement, said Blue. Wait here, the sailor replied before he vanished up the plank and out of sight. We didn't have to wait long. From the deck emerged another earth pony. To say he was rotund would be an understatement. This stallion was like a keg on legs. He also sported an enormous and wild beard. He wore a grey-blue captain's jacket and matching tricorn hat. Captain Seaspray, good to see you again, said Blueblood as the 2 stallions shared a manly hug in greeting. Good to see you too, lad. It's been far too long. He then turned to me. So you are the strange being who needs passage to Zebrica at? I've seen a lot of strange things in me days, but none like yet. Still, just cause some pony looks odd don't mean they ain't good folk. Ever been on a ship, lad? I shook my head. Not unless you count a canoe. Nay, that won't do, he said with a grin. All right then, pin your ears up and listen. There's a few rules ya need to follow if you wanna sail on me ship. I nodded and gave him my full attention. First up, don't get in the way of me crew. You're free to roam around on the deck, but stay out of the cargo hold. Secondly, if you have a dispute with some pony, you settle it on the shore. No fighting on board the ship. Thirdly, no lanterns or candles on deck after 8 in the evening. Follow these 3 rules and everything will be fine. I can do that. Alright then lad, welcome aboard. We'll get ya to Zecora without a fuss. So you're just gonna leave, without even saying goodbye? Came a familiar voice from behind us. We all turned to find a panting Trixie standing there, sporting 2 bulging saddlebags. Trixie? How the fuck did you get here? Emergency teleport gem. She said, holding up a broken sphere of quartz-like material. Good for one long-distance teleport to a location of the user's choice. After our encounter with those dragons, Trixie invested her savings into getting one. Just in case she ever needed to make a quick escape again. And now she's gone and spent it chasing after you. Trixie was lucky she overheard your location or she might have never made it in time. You owe Trixie a new gem by the way. What do you mean you overheard? Trixie followed you to the bridge. She heard exactly where you were going. Trixie had to run all the way back to the library to get her stuff and the gem, and then run around the docks looking for this pier. You should have stayed in Ponyville, Trixie. Absolutely not. Trixie is not about to let you run off on your own and disappear into the night. I have to do this by myself. Horse apples you do. Trixie is coming with you. No, you're not. Wanna bet? She said as she stomped a hoof. Why are you so adamant about coming with me? Because even though you say you need to do this by yourself, Trixie believes otherwise. You haven't been yourself since we got back from the volcano. The others might not have noticed, but Trixie could clearly see you've been keeping your distance from every pony. Trixie strongly believes you need a friend, now more than ever. Besides, Trixie, I like hanging out with you. But I can't guarantee your safety. So? Trixie is a grown mare. She can take care of herself. But what if I lose control again? Then Trixie will be there to snap you out of it. Trixie, I'm serious. You could get hurt. I don't want to see you hurt, or be the one that hurts you. You won't. You don't know that. That's a risk Trixie is willing to take. Well, I'm not. It's not up to you. This is Trixie's life, Trixie's choice. Hers, not yours. But... no. Twice now you told Trixie to run while you put yourself in harm's way to protect her. I will not run a third time. This time I will stand my ground, to help you. Because I care about you. We stared at each other for what felt like hours. I could see it in her eyes. The conviction that she needed to be here. And the determination to see things through. I let out a tired sigh and nodded. Trixie suddenly jumped forward and hugged me around the waist, since I was currently a lot taller than her. Thanks, Trixie. You really are a good friend. I said as I returned the hug somewhat awkwardly, due to our size difference. Yeah, and you're an idiot. She said as she finally let go. Something wrong? Nothing, let's just get on board. I turned to face Captain Seaspray. Will that be all right, sir? I suppose one more can't hurt. So long as you two don't mind sharing a bunk. Share a bunk? With him. Trixie stammered. We only have so much room, said Seaspray. We'll make do. I said. I guess this is goodbye then. Said Blueblood, who raised his hoof for a bump. I promptly bumped it with my fist. Good luck, Aaron, Miss Lulamoon. Come back safely. We both nodded, then boarded the ship. As the sun dipped below the horizon and twilight set in, so did the tide. At the captain's signal the sails were unfurled and the anchor raised. We left port just as the moon rose up to take its place in the sky. I stood on the aft deck, watching the lights of Baltimore as the city slowly vanished beneath the horizon. We made good time thanks to a Pegasus-assisted breeze. Now there was nothing between us and Zecora but the open ocean. There was no turning back now.